Ladies, gentlemen, and children from around the world, my name is Don Agent, and I'll be your host this week on the Kegel Show. And it is with great pleasure to have a long-term student and bowler join us this week, Daniel Bolan. Thank you so much for coming out, young man. You've been coming to Kegel since you were 12 years old.
Correct.
Which is quite a long time. And your resume, I've had some pretty interesting resumes on this show. Yours is quite diversified, so I'm going to, for the benefit of the public, kind of shake down a few things. You're a Florida State High School individual champion, regional singles and doubles title with the TNBA, national team TNBA youth champion, impressively Eagle Scout, okay, because I know how difficult that is, even though I'm not one. Orange County Citizen of the Year. How old are you?
20 now.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. USBC Youth Ambassador. You developed the Strike for Vets nonprofit organization. We're both wearing some student veteran shirts today. Thank you for bringing this out for us, and we'll get to that a little bit later because I want you to tell our audience all about these programs. You're also now working with Students for Vets, and you're a black belt in Taekwondo. And you're a bowler. What a package. I love this. All right, let's start off, how old were you, when you started bowling? Why did you get involved?
So I started bowling when I was 12 years old. I had gone to a few birthday parties that were bowling related, and I was just absolutely terrible at it. I could not keep it on the lane to save my life. So it was in that moment that my parents and I decided, hey, maybe, I could take a few lessons to see how I would enjoy it and to get more, socially into it and stuff. And it just took off from there.
You got hooked and love it.
Exactly. And the rest is history.
Did you play any other sports at all?
Yes. I played, swimming, soccer, basketball, track and field, a bunch of other sports.
So endurance sports as well as, hand and arm movement
Correct.
as well. So it's funny because so many of us, I played baseball for a while and tennis, and so many people have migrated to bowling outside of some of these other sports. That's fantastic. Getting to your parents, on the outside looking in, you're essentially part of the Kegel family. You've been coming here forever. You know everybody here, and we know your father very well. We see him all the time, who is with us today behind the scenes. Thank you for coming out there, Chris. How instrumental were your parents to your success both academically and within this sport?
My parents have been my rock stars. They have supported me since day one, since they adopted me from Romania, which is a big story in itself. They've always been really supportive. And sometimes, not just myself, but kids around the world and your viewers, we don't thank our parents as much as we should, and we really should take the time to thank them because they really do put a lot of time and money and effort into making, us who we are.
Excellent answer, man, and kudos to both your parents, because as I've said this, probably the last 2-3 shows I've had young people on, goes back to good parenting in my opinion, without a doubt.
Nature.
I had fantastic parents and was very fortunate as well. We said, you've been coming to Kegel here obviously since you were around 12. You play the two-handed style.
Yes.
Current style, and for me, I love it. Okay, there's a
Right.
lot of there's good talk and bad talk about it. For me, I see it as a great benefit to bowling. I see my own benefits, but what I really want to ask you is, what do you see as personal benefits that style gave to you, essentially?
Well, the sport of bowling in general is for everyone. Whether you're in a wheelchair or you're an amputee, the sport of bowling is supposed to be inclusive. And, when I was younger, I couldn't throw the ball one-handed. I just couldn't. Physically, my strength wasn't there, whatnot.
Sure.
So my only resolution was to throw two-handed, and for me it gives me more speed and power on the ball, and I can adjust the revolutions however I need to. So to answer that into a simpler answer, the two-handed method is just another way of including people into the sport and allowing them to take part in the
Because you may
fun.
not have bowled. Essentially is
Exactly.
what you're saying.
Exactly.
And this has been kind of my argument on it, because if we're doing everything within what the governing body deems allowable,
Right.
we could have lost somebody like yourself for life in this sport.
Exactly.
And,
Yes.
and what's ironic about it is most of our older viewers, I think, would agree, or any that have worked in the back of a bowling center like I did, you started out bowling with two hands.
Right.
I don't know a lot of 1 and 2 year olds that can pick up a bowling ball
No.
and start slinging down one hand. It's kind of how we evolved going on. You know, two things have impressed me the most out of your resume. It stood out for me personally. The Eagle Scout. That's huge. And, you know, black belt in Taekwondo, also very huge, because those two things for me, I have my attachments to those for my own various reasons, but I've seen some tremendous people come out of those two programs. Eagle Scout, how hard was that? I mean, how many years did that take you to do?
It was very difficult. The Eagle Scout process took me about 4 or 5 years, and the project itself, the final project to get the Eagle Scout itself, took me a whole year. So, for your viewers out there who don't know, I built a memorial garden in a lower socioeconomical part of Orlando, Florida, and it was to raise awareness about the useless violence in the area, drug-related, gun-related.
Rock and roll.
So,
Good
that's what it
deal.
was.
So how many Eagle Scouts do they take a year?
I'm not sure of the exact number,
think
but
that
I know
number's
the
quite low.
percentage is very
I
low.
thought it was quite low.
Yes.
'Cause I had a friend of mine I grew up with that was one, and it was a pretty arduous
Mm-hmm.
task. Black belt in Taekwondo. How did that benefit you? That, along with kind of the morals of Eagle Scout and good parents, how much bearing did those two achievements, do you think, have on you academically and as a bowler and as a human?
Well, both of those achievements equally contribute to dedication. You know, my Eagle Scout project was very arduous. You know, it was a lot of hours, you know, not just for myself, but for all the community members involved in it. In Taekwondo, I spent 9 years in Taekwondo in leading up to my black belt. And the thing that Taekwondo has done, and other things that I've done in my life so far, is it's taught me dedication, hard work, and if you really want to do something and you put your mind to it, you can accomplish it. And so both of those, and many other things that I've done, all contribute to who I am today.
Well
and my
said.
morals.
Well said. You know, obviously two big achievements. You've also got a lot of bowling achievements. You know, you've been very active in all things for veterans. Okay. I'd really kind of like you to elaborate and take us on the journey of when that started, as far as I'm assuming Strikes for Veterans, and to where that's leading, to kind of let our audience know, you know, one, the wonderful aspects of these programs, but also what direction you're hoping to see these go forward.
So, about 5 years ago, following the conclusion of my Eagle Scout project, I started an organization called Strike for Vets. And Strike for Vets was bowling based, as you can know by the name. It was to get veterans involved in the community with community people and to give back to those who have served through different community events and so on, and to raise money for veterans charities. So we would run events in Hawaii, Alaska, Florida, Illinois, and many other states. Advancing from Strike for Vets alone, we added another branch just recently called the Student Veterans Foundation, sort of like the shirts that we're wearing.
I'm going to wear proudly.
And what the mission of Student Veterans is to shed light on the student veterans on college campuses who have served, and we want to thank them for their years of service, not just on the battlefield, but on college campuses as well. Because as you and I both know, veterans don't get the amount of appreciation that they
100%.
should sometimes.
Absolutely.
So both of Strike for Vets and Student Veterans Foundation are working together to raise overall awareness and to shed light on veterans for their visible and invisible wounds.
So this ties into some of the GI Bill things as well?
Correct.
Okay.
So the Student Veterans Foundation deals with the GI Bill, and we're getting multiple universities, University of Central Florida and Florida State University and many other universities outside of Florida to talk with student veterans on college campuses to see how we can better fit their needs and make their college experience more enjoyable for
I
them.
mean, broaden this for me. How many are we talking about? I mean, we threw up some numbers a little bit earlier, but for the audience, how many student vets are we talking about?
So we're talking around 1 million in the whole United States. We've got a lot of student veterans. You know, just in Florida, you know, with UCF having 67,000 students, you can just imagine how many student veterans we have on the college campuses nationwide.
Wow. Yeah, my father was a retired military veteran, 22 years of the Coast Guard. So was my uncle with another branch. And you're right. They friends of mine that are even veterans now, they don't. I don't want to say don't get enough respect, but I don't think people are aware of the sacrifices that these people have made, you know, whether it's been 1 year or a career of 20, obviously.
Right.
And especially if we can get them education as a younger group comes back in from their time served. I think this is a wonderful cause. Where would you like to see it go inevitably?
Inevitably, I would like to see every college campus have a student veterans group on their college campus so that student veterans don't have to feel lonely or that they're alone on their college journey. We want them to feel included with other students on college campuses. And for college students on college campuses who are not veterans, to include them as well and to see the benefits.
That's got to be difficult. Man, I didn't go to college. So going to a school of 60-something thousand people, I mean, it's more than I've got in my whole city I live in. That's pretty wild. All right, you got a website you can give out for the public
yes,
and,
so
and the
for
viewers?
the viewers out there to find out more information, to see all the stats, you can go to studentveteransfoundation.org. All the information is there. You can see about me and the team members that we have, as well as donate on the page.
Fantastic cause. I obviously read some excerpts off of that here a couple days ago to familiarize myself a little bit more with it. We do a lot of things with veterans on a different level, like the retired military veterans tournaments and things like that they've run in Vegas. But excellent cause. Let's jump back into bowling. If you had to pick, who's your favorite bowler growing up?
My favorite bowler growing up, definitely Jason Belmonte, because at the time he was the only one who threw like me.
Good call,
so
man.
you know, I hate to be biased,
No.
but you know, just being realistic. But yes, Jason Belmonte, definitely one of my faves. Also Kelly Kulick, you know, both of them are very nice people in general.
Outstanding, both of them. I just
yes,
saw
you've
Kelly up
met
at Hall of Fame, and
Yes.
just, that was just so wonderful to see her up there as well. Great ambassador. What about, all right, if you had to pick an event that you could win, which one would it be and why?
Probably something around the World Team Championships.
I was wondering if you were going to default to PBA. I love to hear that, man. Excellent.
Yeah, so the PBA is great.
Absolutely.
Yes, no doubt. And a lot of people have been successful in the PBA. But, you know, being on Team Romania and having aspirations for world travel and being a global citizen, you know, with bowling as well, I've just always inspired to be drawn toward the world events. And, you know, the reason why I say the team part is because I've always enjoyed team play. Whether it's Baker or what else, I've always enjoyed that collaboration that team members have, and there's no I in team.
Right.
So.
I always enjoyed team bowling as well. Never did a lot of Baker because we didn't, unfortunately, showing my age, we didn't have a lot of college bowling back then. Any advice for up-and-coming youth?
There's a lot of advice you could give up-and-coming youth, and that is stay off the video games.
Good one, good one.
I'll start off with that.
Good one.
Stay off the video games, educate yourself, and one of the things, one of my favorite bowling coaches, I should say, I have a lot of them, Fred Borden, he's always taught me, learn as much about a subject as you can. You know, whether it's bowling or academics or a future career you want to go into, learn as much as you can about that subject or that field. You know, to not only know about it, but to educate your own mind. And so you can be better prepared for the upcoming events and so on that's related to that field, of course. Another thing is to thank your parents. Your parents are your rock stars. They are your role models. They've raised you to be who you are today. You know, they care for you, they love you, and provide for you. So definitely you should thank them more than often.
Great advice. I love also on the first part where, you know, Fred tells you is unbelievable man that is.
Yes.
Couldn't his resume
Great guy.
would fill this whole
Mhm.
room up. The field that you're interested in.
Yes.
Not just learn, you know, I try to tell people that want to be better bowlers, you know, they want to learn about bowling balls and all these things. Well, it's good to also know about lanes and topography and how conditions break down. John Janowitz is a perfect example.
Yes.
You ask him, if you
Another
took
great
all
guy.
that knowledge away and just kept his raw skill, he'll be the first one to tell you he would not be where he is today if he did not have that other knowledge.
I can believe it.
And I usually that's the last question I ask, but I do want to get in. You know, you've recently graduated. You're also going to go into FSU. Academically, what are you pursuing?
So I'm pursuing the political field, which is obviously a hot topic in today's
Sure,
America,
sure.
just to say the least. But following the political career, I would like to pursue a law degree. That's where currently my aspirations are. So.
You going to bowl for the team up there? Have you
Yes,
thought about
I
it?
will.
Awesome.
Yes,
Too
I
cool.
have a really good coach up there, Coach Fine.
Mike Fine is a fantastic dude. Here's to you, Mike, if you get a chance to see this show, man. We've known him for many,
So-
many years.
The people up there are great, and I love them already.
Crenshaw Lanes. Daniel, I can't thank you for coming out, buddy. I
Thank you.
enjoyed the heck out of it, and good luck to you, and I'm sure we'll see you here very soon, my friend.
I'm sure you will.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for today. Keep those wrenches turning. Have a wonderful day.
3, 2, all right, we're good.